I'm sitting in front of my neighbor Phil's house. This represents Mercury in my solar system. You'd have to travel 35.98 million miles to get from the sun to Mercury. And if my sun is a meter in diameter, this little rock represents how large Mercury is in our solar system. Standing outside my friend's Hunter's house, it represents Venus in my solar system. And you'd have to travel 67.24 million miles from the sun to get to Venus. It's the size of this rock, and it's pretty close to the size of the Earth. It's the size of this rock in my solar system if the sun is 1,000 millimeters or 1 meter in diameter. Standing outside my other neighbor's house, it represents Earth in my solar system. You'd have to travel 92.96 million miles from the sun to get to Earth, and it's represented by this little rock. It's really similar in size to Venus, and Ingleton Way, just before it turns off into Monarch, it represents Mars in my solar system. You would have to travel 141.6 million miles from the sun to get to Mars. And this represents what Mars is if the sun is 1,000 millimeters or a meter in diameter. The field of Buffalo Ridge Elementary School represents Jupiter in my solar system. Jupiter, to get from the sun to Jupiter, you would have to travel 483.8 million miles, and this is the size of the object that represents it. And if the sun was 1,000 millimeters or a meter in diameter. Yorkshire Drive, before it turns into Castle Pines Parkway, represents Saturn in my solar system. To get to Saturn from the sun, you would have to travel 890.7 million miles, and this is the size of the object if the sun was 1,000 millimeters or 1 meter in diameter. Beaumont Kennels represents Uranus in my solar system. To get to Uranus from the sun, you would have to travel 1.787 billion miles. This is what the size of Uranus would be if the sun was 1,000 millimeters in diameter or 1 meter. The holes at Castle Pines Golf Club represent Neptune in my solar system. To get to this Neptune from the sun, you would have to travel 2.795 billion miles. And this is what the size of Neptune would be if the sun was 1,000 millimeters or 1 meter in diameter. Fargo, North Dakota is the Oort cloud in my solar system. The Oort cloud is thought to extend from 2,000 and 5,000 astronomical units to as far as 50,000 astronomical units from the sun. It is this size if the sun is 1,000 millimeters or 1 meter in diameter.